Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Stampin' Chat Live. I'm Gina from Gina K Designs, and it's great to see all of you coming in from all around the world.
Hello, 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 hello.
I hear you in the dead space. Where are you? Hey, Tom.
What happened to you?
Well, you know, whenever we have a special guest in the studio, we have to back out a little bit because there needs to be room for two of us.
Okay.
So that's why I'm so far back.
Okay.
You all right with that?
That's fine. That just was terrifying. I don't know what happened. I think you stepped into a hole or something.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, there he goes back in the dead space. Well, everybody, I know why you're here tonight, because tonight we have a very special guest in the studio. Simon Hurley is here to join us, and he's going to be showing us stamping foam and lunar paste, and he is just amazing. I have followed Simon Hurley for a very long time. And then I had the pleasure of meeting him in real life when he and my daughter, Rena, did a little podcast together and they did videos together. It was so much fun to watch them in the studio together. And I'm sure a lot of you remember those videos. And now Simon has about 10 million subscribers on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube combined. So he's kind of a big deal. And I'm a little nervous having him in the studio because it's Simon Hurley. But before we get started, Tom, come on back for a second. Right. So for those of you who are new here and joining us for the first time, that's Tom, and he's in the dead space. How are you tonight, Tom?
I am officially better than horrible.
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, that's the goal. It's working out.
And for those of you who don't know, that is the standard here at Gina K Designs. It just has to be better than horrible. And it will be tonight. It's going to be better than that, though, because I've already had a peek at the lunar paste and the solar paste, and I am so jazzed about it. And I know you guys are going to be too. So, Tom, without further ado, shall we bring him in?
Let's.
All right, let's welcome him. Simon Hurley. Here he is. Yay!
Hey, friends. I'm so excited to be joining Gina today and all of you and craft along together.
It's going to be so much fun tonight.
It's going to be amazing.
So before we went on, Simon was showing me all of these amazing products that he has. And I can't believe how many colors of lunar paste and solar paste you have.
Yeah.
They're everywhere, all over our desk here.
There's a lot. It's been about 2 years since me and Gina have been together in person. And since then, the line has definitely expanded with color.
Yeah. And a lot of things, because now you have your own acrylic blocks. You have a complete line of ink that is gorgeous. I do remember seeing you and Rena using your inks, and they stamp beautifully. You've got the stamping foam has grown so much. When I started with stamping foam, there was one. And now you've got, what, like 4 different ones?
4 different shapes.
Wow. So tonight, Simon is going to show us how to use stamping foam, and I'm going to stamp along too. So we're both going to be making some projects tonight, and he's going to be showing us how to use this lunar paste. Now, I've been looking at these colors, and I've been trying to figure out which Gina K Designs colors will go with these for my background, for my stamping foam. So I think what I'm going to do for mine is I'm going to pick a few colors for the stamping foam and then try to make the lunar paste work with it. I think that'll be the easiest.
That's
I'm excited. Awesome. All right. So, Simon, why don't we start with you showing us all the different shapes of stamping foam that are available?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's jump right into it.
Okay.
So first, we have the regular stamping foam. So this is the one you've maybe seen Gina work with in the past. These are really great for card fronts, but they've got a little bit of a border around them too when you stamp them down. And there's 4 inside of this pack, which is really great.
I love this one because my Master Layouts 2 die set cuts this out beautifully with a border. So I was so happy that you made one this size.
Oh, nice.
But I know a lot of our customers do 5x7 cards and they want something bigger.
Yes, so this is definitely a bigger size. This will cover a full A2 card, but you can also use it on a larger card as well. And it's really great. So there's 2 of these in a pack, and you can stamp these down and get your texture and then kind of cover the card, which is really amazing.
You're getting some nice comments
so sweet, Twyla.
Okay, and then so now we've got the big rectangles and the smaller rectangles.
And then we've got the circle as well. So we've kind of dipped into the circle pack, but inside of here you get the inside of the circle and the border of it, and you get 2 of each of those as well. So super awesome. I love these ones because you can either use the inside to create a colored circle or do the border and then kind of put your focal point inside of here, which can be a really fun way to use it as well.
Oh, I'm going to use this one tonight, definitely.
Yes.
Because I've never had this one. I've had some of the other ones, but this one I've never had. I'm excited.
I love the circle.
Yes.
And then last but not least is a heart. And it's the same thing as the circle one. And this heart pops right out. So you get the outside border and the inside heart piece. And then you get 2 of these in a pack as well.
Oh, that's great. You know, hearts are great for lots of things. Sometimes I think of hearts just for Valentine's Day, but weddings or anytime you want to send a little bit of love to somebody, I think this is fantastic. So
Right.
I do have this one and I love it.
Yes,
Use
these
it a
are
lot.
awesome.
All right.
Alrighty.
So which one are you going to use?
I'm going to use the regular kind of smaller rectangle stamping foam for my stamping that I'm doing today.
All right. Now, what do you have going there? Because
All
that
right.
looks interesting.
You've got a little contraption here. So if you're at home using your stamping foam, you could totally just use them by itself like this and just stamp it down with your hands, and that's totally fine. So just using them straight out of the package is perfectly fine. But I just grabbed a little bit of tape. This is mint tape from scrapbook.com, but you can use any sort of like non or low tack tape that you have and just tape it down to an acrylic block. This is my acrylic block, but Gina's will work as well. Really any size acrylic block that you have, tape it down to it, and that will give you more of a firm handle. So if you struggle to get a great impression, this is going to help you out to have a piece of solid acrylic onto it.
Okay, that's brilliant. So can I get my block?
Yep.
And I'm going to put my round one on there. Now, does it matter if it's a little textured? It won't matter, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Won't matter.
So I think I'm going to use, you have the mint tape by scrapbook.com. I'm going to use the pixie tape by Thermoweb because I've got tons of this available.
Awesome.
And it's kind of similar. So I'm just going to put it on there like that.
Yep.
Yours is so much neater. You took more time. So you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of rolling the tape into like, you know how you did this as a kid to put like pictures up on your walls and stuff. Just doing that. And then I'm going to stick that right on my block. And now I have.
Perfect.
Oh, that's good. That's smart.
amazing.
I like that.
Mhm.
Okay.
So it just creates a little handle. It makes it a little bit easier to hold on to.
Very good.
Then we're going to grab our embossing folders. So we've got some really beautiful embossing folders from Gina K. And I'm going to be using this design today, but you can really use any embossing folders that you have, but these are just beautiful. Check out those stunning designs in there.
So Simon's using the Petite Flourish, and I'm going to use the Holiday Tapestry, the Tapestry one. And I got to find the one that presses in, right? The side
Yeah,
that
you want the
presses in?
side, you want the textured side. So
Okay.
the side that kind of sticks out is the side you're going to want to use. You could totally use the side that sticks in too. It just depends on what look you want. Because if you press it into that one, you're going to get the raised design of this. But then if you press this into here, you're going to get the negative. So it's going to stamp the outside of the pattern.
Okay, so I'm going to go then with the raised part. And that's what you're going to do too,
Mhm.
right? Okay.
I'm going to use the raised. Yep. But
Okay.
you can use either one, and you can test it at home because you'll get different looks with either one.
All right. So let's go ahead and have Simon do his first, and he can kind of talk us through it, and then I'll do mine.
Alrighty, so I'm going to go into here, and I always say to have your texture kind of nice and ready. So that's why I've opened our embossing folders and gotten them perfectly ready, because you don't want to waste any time after you've already heated it up. Okay, so I'm going to go in here with my Ranger heat tool. You can use any heat tool you have. I just like this one because it's nice and quiet. And I'm just going to go in and heat this up for about 10 to 15 seconds. And just make sure you keep the heat tool moving as you go along to make sure that it's nice and good and hot.
I'm going to use my loud, obnoxious heat tool. That is quiet.
Yeah, it's nice and quiet for this, which is really great.
Okay.
All right, and then once that's good and hot, you're going to take it and press it right down into your embossing folder. And you want to do this, oh, my head just got in the way. You want to do this nice and quickly once you've got it, so that that texture is going to really transfer and that the foam doesn't have a chance to cool down. So
Oh, that is really perfect. Can you guys see all that texture? Can they see that, Tom?
check that out.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, that looks good.
So super pretty. And yeah, you get a great texture, especially when you have the acrylic block behind it, because you get that really great solid design in there.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So now mine is going to scream. Woo! All right. So am I holding it too close?
No, that should be good. And then, yep, just keep it moving.
All right. Yeah, Simon's tool is quieter. No doubt. Is that good, you think?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
And then I'm going to stamp mine right down onto this design.
Perfect.
Okay. Now, one thing that I remember from doing the other ones that I had a little trouble was right around the perimeter. And so I like to kind of just make sure that I've got the entire perimeter done too. And I think that was just me being weak. But if anybody's a little weak, just make sure you put a little extra pressure around the perimeter.
Yeah, and you can sort of rock it too, just as long as you don't move it. But if you rock it, it'll kind of get that texture around the edges too.
Okay.
That's perfect. Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, did I use the wrong side?
Oh, yeah, you did.
I used the wrong side, guys. All right, so here's the magic,
but
though.
that wouldn't make a horrible design, but if you want the other one, yeah.
I want the other way, though. So can you see mine, how it's raised? And Simon's
it raises the surface.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You can use this over and over again because you could just heat it again and the design will just disappear. And now you can use it on the next thing. Here's the raised side. Okay. Think that's hot enough?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Awesome.
Simon's so confident. Mm-hmm. All right.
Is that the right one?
Yes, it is the right one. I flipped it around, I think. Did I flip it around?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Whew. All right.
But yeah, that was really great to show because this is reusable. So once you clean it off after your stamping, you can heat it and get a new
Look at that, guys. Isn't that beautiful?
I love that folder. That's beautiful.
Oh, I love it. I'm so excited.
So
okay.
good.
And can I just say one thing, Tom? I just got to tell them that right now, through Thursday, all of Gina K designs, anything embossing is on sale for 20% off. So that includes embossing powders, embossing folders, the embossing magic pad, our embossing and watermark ink cubes, re-inkers. So all things embossing are 20% off. So if you've been thinking about getting folders, and you have stamping foam or you want to get some, we do have the stamping foam.
Oh, that's awesome.
But if we sell out, they can go over to Ranger, right?
Yep. If it sells out, you can go to Ranger Ink or you can go to scrapwood.com or Simon Says Stamp, and all of those have the stamping foam as well.
Yes, and check your local stores too, because I think everybody's carrying it now. Okay, so now we've got this gorgeous design. Now, what do we do?
All right, so now we're going to ink these up. So you're going to want to pull in whatever color inks you want. So Gina's got the great mini ink cubes, which are going to be really great for getting into the little details. And then I have my Simon Hurley inks, and these are just a little bit larger, so you'll just have to use the edge of the ink pad if you want more detail.
And so I saw a question just fly by really quickly, and somebody asked, how long does the impression last? And I can testify to the fact that it lasts forever until you heat it again, because I put one away without heating it. And I just pulled my block out because I knew you were coming. And it must have been, I don't know, it was one that I had done around Christmas.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it was still there.
Yeah,
so.
It lasts a super long time, and that's the awesome part about it. So if you have a design that you really love, something that we've done too, like one of my best friend's dogs just recently passed, which is really super sad. But before they passed, we took their paw print and did a little stamped impression. So they get to keep that forever. Then it kind of turned into a piece of artwork that they framed. So a really beautiful way to kind of commemorate that. But yeah, it lasts forever, which is awesome.
Oh, that's such a great thing to do. I wouldn't have thought of that. Can you do baby feet too? And
yeah, because when you heat it, it doesn't get like super intensely hot. So when you press it in, it's just kind of warm. So yeah, you could do baby feet or hands, and you could do like a dog's paw as well. Just maybe make sure to like touch it to make sure that it's not too warm. But when I've tested it out, it hasn't been. And it's it just turns out so beautiful.
Now I'm like thinking like a key to your first house or first car. Oh, there's so many things you can do.
Or like little seashells too.
Oh yeah.
Really awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. And one other person asked, what is an embossing magic pad? And I just want to clarify that that's the anti-static pad that I use all the time when I emboss. And if you want to know more about embossing, you can always check out my YouTube channel and type in embossing Gina K, and a million videos come up. And I also have a playlist for that. So, okay. So now,
all right,
we're going to get to the next part.
I always start off with kind of the latest color, just as to not like contaminate the colors, but it doesn't really matter how you do it. I'm going to start off with a little bit of Shooting Star, and I'm just going to go in with my ink pad. Now, when you're inking, I find that tapping like this doesn't really work as well. You sort of get color on there, but it's not too much. Whereas when I go in and I kind of swipe this onto the surface in sort of a circular motion, almost like you would ink blending, you get a lot more of a solid and intense color throughout. So check that out.
Oh, that's pretty. I'm using honey mustard on
that's
mine.
Such a pretty color.
Yeah, I think I'm going for the autumn look here. Okay. All right.
And then I'll go in with my next color. And then to just blend them, I just kind of...
what color is that?
This one is Guppy.
Okay. So I'm going to use tomato soup.
Beautiful. And then I kind of just rub them into each other like this to blend them together.
Yeah.
I'm doing mine in stripes, and you're doing kind of a circular pattern, which is going to be really beautiful and kind of organic, which is awesome. And then I'm going to finish it off with a little bit of Prom Queen.
Okay, and I'm going to use Jelly Bean Green, but I think I'm going to add one more color to mine. So I'm going to add a little bit of Jelly Bean here. I'm going to go back with some more honey mustard, or maybe I'll just do honey mustard up here too.
Ooh, that's super pretty. I love how those blend together.
Yeah, and the honey mustard will blend nicely with the green and that tomato soup. So what do you think? You think that's good?
That looks awesome.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go in with little sponges too. And I'm just going to go in and pounce. You could use a blending brush too if you have a blending brush. And just kind of pounce right around. And it's just going to kind of soften the line. But yours already looks pretty blended there. But
okay.
If you kind of have like a stripe or a design that you notice that isn't really too blended together, you can always go in and just use your blending tool and kind of swipe it a little bit to get rid of any harsh lines or anything like that.
And we had a question, can you use any kind of ink?
Yeah, you can. So you'll notice that with some inks, it stains more than others, but that is totally fine. A stained stamp and a stained stamping foam, in this case, is a loved stamp. And so you could totally do that. When we clean them off, we'll kind of show how it works, but it might stain it a little bit, but that's totally fine.
Yeah. And if you're not getting a really clean design, you might not be heating your stamping foam up long enough so that when you do the impression, it doesn't get deep enough.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you are kind of moving too much, you might move outside of the lines, and that could make it a little bit blurry too. So focus on getting it a little bit warmer and then just going straight down onto your design. And if you rock it, make sure you don't move it when you rock it, that you're staying fairly still,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay. All right. So
Alrighty.
now I do have this, and I don't know if I have this on. Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
I just sprayed Simon's leg. Yeah, it's working.
So we will go in here and just kind of mist. So I kind of hold it from a little bit of a distance, like maybe a foot or two, and then just go right over top and just lightly, gently mist this.
I gotcha.
Perfect.
Okay.
The cleaning crew underneath. And so you just want it to glisten like this. You don't want any globs of color, just so that it kind of helps to transfer and blend it a little bit.
Okay.
All right, that's perfect.
And now
I'm going to take a piece of my cardstock and we'll kind of center it onto this. All right.
Simon, what's that red ink you used?
The pink ink is Prom Queen.
yeah. Beautiful
Awesome.
colors, Simon.
Thank you. And
Okay,
then I'll
so-
just press this down.
So
and
I'm
you'll
going to do
get
the
it.
same.
Perfect.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Love it.
So I'm going to stamp off here. Spray off. So, ooh, did I do too much? I have a little blob there.
Nope, that's perfect.
Okay.
That should be good still.
All right. Here we go. I'm going in. I'm going to cut this down. So I think I'm going to be okay. If it doesn't work, we'll just get another piece of cardstock and do it again.
That's perfect. That looks great.
That's so pretty, isn't it?
I love it.
Oh, these are
Wow.
beautiful.
The colors are just gorgeous on it.
Denise, the sale is on right now. Tom, maybe you want to put a banner up. The code is Emboss20 for 20% off. So just, fill up your cart with whatever embossing items you want, and then put in the code, and you'll get 20% off anything that's embossing related. So sorry about that. I forgot about the code. People are probably looking on the site going, what? Trying to get that embossing folder. Okay, so I just wiped mine with water.
Perfect.
I didn't do the
that
whole.
cleaned off really nice.
Yeah.
Yep. And so I'll just wipe mine off with water as well.
Okay.
And they clean off pretty easily. And then, like we said, you can always go back in if you want to and just reheat it, and then it'll flatten out again. So you can keep using it over and over, or you could keep that same design in there. Just depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, and then you can try different colors and see what colors you like the best. Now, I noticed on my stamping foam that the reds stain it a little bit, but it doesn't transfer at all. Your mom's here.
Oh, awesome. Hey, Mom.
Karen Hurley. Hi, Karen. So we had some questions, Simon, on the on Facebook. Some people wanted to know some things about you. So before we go to the next step, whatever we're going to do next, I'm just going to ask a couple questions. The first question is, they wanted to know, does your mom still teach? And if she does, or she doesn't, either way, is she involved helping you in your career?
Yeah, so my mom doesn't teach anymore. She retired a little while ago from teaching. And so now she kind of helps me out. She helps pretty much in all the product meetings. She helps create some of the product names and things like that, some of the brainstorming. And then she helps a lot behind the scenes with traveling and, coming up with new ideas. So she does help a lot kind of behind the scenes in a lot of this.
And Karen, I was so sad that you're not here, because when Simon pulled up and you weren't in the car with him, I was like, where's your mom?
Right.
So yeah, next time though, for
yes,
sure.
We'll have to do it again.
Yeah. Okay. I'll get to the next question, but I think what I want them to show them one more time is now how we get rid of this design.
Yes.
Okay. Let's just do that.
All right. So we'll just bring back in our heat tool, and you'll just do the same exact thing as you did at the beginning. And like you saw Gina do, you'll just go right back in.
I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you there so that they can really see.
Really
Might
show
be a
them the
little
magic.
close. Yeah. Some people watch on their big screens. So their stamping foam is like 3 feet by 4 feet.
We're on your TV.
Yeah.
Huh? That's awesome.
Listen to how quiet his heat tool is.
Yeah, so this is the Ranger heat tool. A lot of people think that it's a hairdryer, but a hairdryer doesn't get hot enough. So you do want to make sure you're using a heat tool to do this. And just heat it back up.
Do you guys see it disappearing?
And look how awesome that is.
That is really awesome.
Right back to flat. How fun.
Yeah. I'll do mine here with my loud, obnoxious tool. I need to get a Ranger tool. I really like that. Because the Ranger tool is really great for drying things too, where the heat tool, sometimes if you're not careful, you can burn your paper, but it seems like the Ranger tool is good for other things as well. So that's pretty flat. I think what you're seeing left there is just the little bit of staining.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're really kind of, neurotic like me about staining sometimes, I did use a little Gina K design stamp cleaner on this one time, and it seemed to be okay, but I would test it because it could be a little bit strong if you don't clean it off right away. You could just use a little Dawn detergent on there too.
Yeah, I've used, so I don't know if this is something that I should say, but it's a pretty inexpensive product. So it's like if you're cleaning it and it does end up not working on the stamping foam, it's not a huge deal. But I wouldn't use anything like acetone to clean it off. But if you have like Windex or like your stamp cleaner, like the Gina K's stamp cleaner is really nice. So you can kind of use that to clean it off, and that will help. But if it stains, it's not a huge deal.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so now this is ready to just put away until the next time we want to use it.
Yep.
All right, now it's time to break out the solar paste. We're going to put these panels away. We're going to use these in our cards, right?
All righty. Yep. We'll let these off. We'll let them dry off to the side a little bit.
Sounds good. Okay, so now solar paste. Oh my gosh, guys, there are so many solar pastes, and
Yes.
I mean lunar paste,
Lunar
and
paste.
there's solar paste too.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is super exciting. So in the line, there is lunar paste and there's solar paste. So the difference between these is really nothing really. The consistency is exactly the same. The difference though is that lunar paste is made up of a mica inside of it that's really strong and intense, and it's going to give you tons of beautiful shine. Check that out. I've already used quite a bit of these, but it's that beautiful orange color, and then it's a great metallic, so it'll shine really beautifully.
That's gorgeous.
But this is super intense and opaque. So the difference between this then is that this has the exact same consistency as lunar paste, but solar paste is made with a special mica, and there's only 6 of these colors. And so it looks almost white when you're looking at it straight on, but then when you tilt these in the light, once they're completely dry, you'll see the color that's on the packaging really come to life when you tilt it in the light. So this offers a more subtle effect. Kind of when you're looking at it straight on, you don't really see it as much. And these kind of really are intense and bold. So that's the difference between them.
Very cool. So we did have a question about the stamping foam. Do you need to spritz water on it to make it work?
You don't need to spray the water, but I find that in order to get the best and most intense image, I find that spraying water is helpful and really nice, but you don't have to as well.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so I'm looking at all of these gorgeous colors here, and I am trying to decide what I'm going to use for my card. So I think this is going to be a cool color.
That's pretty. Yeah, I like that.
But you also have gold and silver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the gold right here?
Yep.
Oh, should I use gold? Tell me what to do.
Oh, that's really pretty with that. I like that
So
a lot.
the gold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll use the gold lunar paste.
And then I'll go in, let me see. I'm going to mix a couple colors. I think I'm going to use a little bit of Prom Queen. I love how bright and intense that color is.
That is gorgeous.
And then I think I'll mix it in with just a little bit. So I'll kind of follow along with what I'm doing here. So that's another thing too. I love these match because they match identically with the colors that I used. So I can use Prom Queen, Guppy, and Shooting Star, and that matches the blends that I did on my cardstock.
All right, I might actually mix these too.
Oh, that's pretty.
Or at least to see what it looks like, because I mean, it's fun. You know, you don't, oh, this too. I think I'm gonna use that too. I want to use this.
Oh, I love that
I
color.
love this color, and I think that would be beautiful, but I probably should have put a little bit in there to really make it work. So I think I'm going to go with these 5 colors.
Love it. And I'll go with these 3. So to add these down into the cardstock, there's a couple different ways you could do this, and we'll kind of demonstrate some of them today.
Okay.
So we have the paste tools. I think those are off to the side.
Oh,
there.
yes. Oh, where did I put them? I told you I was going to do that. Oh, here they are. Here they are.
Perfect. So we've got these paste tools, and this comes in a paste tool set. So inside of here, you've got 2 scraper tools like this, and then you've got 1 palette knife inside of here. So it gives you everything you need to like start with any of your pastes, which is really awesome. There's a couple other tools like this on the market, but this has kind of everything in this set, which is really nice. So let's go in here. And there's a couple things you could do. So I'm going to grab my acrylic block really quickly to add kind of a palette, but you could also use your finger too. So it just depends on what you want to do. You could use daubers or your finger to really apply these down nicely. So I'll go in here and I'm just going to grab a little bit of Lunar Paste and take it on my palette knife. And then I'll just apply this down to an acrylic block or some sort of palette. Like if you have a piece of plastic as well, that'll work really nicely. And this just creates a great palette to work from with your color. All right.
Okay, so there were a couple other questions. One person said, why don't you flatten it out before you clean it? But my thought on that is heating up ink kind of makes it more permanent. So you'd want to clean it first and then flatten it out so that you're not kind of bonding the ink to the stamping foam.
Yeah.
And then, yes, you can use stamp cleaner. Simon confirmed that you can use some stamp cleaner on it.
Yes, you can use stamp cleaner, and you can use, I found that stamp cleaner doesn't like eat away at it for me. But like I said, if it does, it's a pretty inexpensive product. So just make sure that if you use a cleaner that doesn't work, then just avoid using that the next time you go around using it. And then I'll use a little bit of Prom Queen as well. I'm going to just place.
And then someone also said, what is the difference between the lunar and the solar paste? And Simon explained that a little bit earlier, where the solar paste it's a lighter, more translucent version of the lunar paste, where the lunar paste is very opaque and the color you see is the color you get. Where with the solar paste, when you put it on your cardstock, it's very sheer looking, but then when you turn it into the light, you get the color that's on the label.
Yes, and when
Did I explain that right?
Yep, and when you think about lunar and solar paste too, this is a really easy way to remember that I told my team and they loved it. So lunar paste is sort of a lustery paste. It's got this really beautiful shine to it, and solar paste is sort of a shifting paste. So just remember it with the 2 beginning letters of each word. Solar kind of has a shift to it, and then lunar just kind of is lustery.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm going to use a little of this here.
Awesome.
So how much do I need? Do I need a lot?
Just kind of a little bit, but spread it pretty thin, I would say. So like you can see here that I didn't apply too much paste, but they're pretty thin across the surface.
Okay.
And you can either use your finger into here, or you can go straight into the jar with your finger too.
Ooh.
Or you could go in with a dauber too. So we can use some daubers today, because I know that some people don't love using their fingers, but I'll show how to use your finger too.
Okay. And then I'm going to use, I think, which one do you think? This one or this one? I want to look at this one.
Maybe actually this one.
Let's take a look at it. Oh, yeah. I don't think you can go wrong, whatever you pick.
Right. Awesome.
Is it okay if I mix it?
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. That's pretty.
I'm going to use one more color.
Awesome. I love these fall and autumn colors you have going on here. It's just beautiful.
I have to use this. This feels like it needs to be in there. Oh, yeah. Look at that.
That's awesome.
This is the gold?
Or no, this is slippery and wet, but it looks pretty much like a gold. Like this is like a more bright yellowy gold, and then this gold is called Gold Rush. And so this one is just a little bit darker and more of kind of a grungy gold.
Okay. I might use that too. Although, this might be enough. Let's try this.
Yeah, let's see how it works.
Okay. All right.
All right. So when you go in here, you're going to want to start off with the lightest color first if you're kind of using these, because we're going to use the same dauber for all of them. So I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to start pouncing this on top. And so it'll kind of sink into the dauber a little bit. That's what you want. You don't want too much on the surface there. So I'm just kind of pouncing it into there. And then I'll go onto my surface and just start kind of swiping it back and forth. And these daubers create such a beautiful kind of smooth blend of the color. These work really well for this.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So again, just kind of go in here. If you want to layer up the color, just continue adding more onto the surface. And this just gives you a nice smooth look. Now, before you move in, or when you move into the next color, you sort of want the next one to still be a little bit wet if you want them to blend.
Okay.
But if you don't want them to blend, you can let the first one dry a little bit. And then I'll dip right into the orange and kind of start adding this down. Oh, that's so pretty. And then kind of feather it into each other to blend it. Like that. And then add some more down.
Ooh, I got a little orange in there.
Oh,
Okay.
that looks great. And then sort of,
Loving
I'll
it.
test out my die to see how big it is, to see how much we need to add. And then lastly, I'll go in with a little bit of Prom Queen right at the bottom here and blend that together.
Okay, and we got to say the colors that I'm using too, because I don't know what they're called.
Oh yeah, so this lime green color is called Sike. This one is called Traffic Cone. And then that yellowish gold color at the bottom is called Slippery When Wet.
Okay, and mine's going to fit. So I think I'm going to stop there.
Perfect.
Aren't they pretty? Could you guys
That
see
looks
the
great.
beautiful shine? Look at that. Isn't that fun?
Amazing.
Oh, that's
So
so
intense,
pretty.
too.
Yeah.
All right.
So does the paste dry hard like cement, or does it clean up with water?
Yes, so once it's dry, the paste is pretty permanent, so it'll kind of dry onto here. So you want to be sure to clean things as you're working. So we're going to set this off to the side. Now, the
Okay.
dry time on this is going to be really quick because it's so thin to the surface. But you could also apply this with a palette knife through a stencil like you usually see, and it'll add lots of texture, but that'll take longer to dry. So when you're cleaning off something like this, if you have extra on the surface, let me just show quickly what you could do with this, because I know some people are going to want to see. So I'll just go in with an extra piece of cardstock, and I just kind of smoosh this onto the surface if you want to.
I want to.
And you can kind of swipe it off the edge too. And this,
I'm going to use that.
yeah, it just creates kind of a nice background.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do sort of the same die cutting technique that we did with this.
I mean, that would be so pretty on a, yeah, I like that.
Right? So if you just use a little bit too much, like how cool is that? It just adds a lot of shine and color. And then again, you can do the same thing that we're doing today, where you can die cut it in once it's dry, and it'll create a beautiful card.
Definitely. So then water?
Yep, and then just water.
Okay.
And the Lunar Paste and Solar Paste sort of break down really well with water, but only while they're wet. So that's why you want to catch them while they're still wet when you're cleaning, because once they kind of dry, they're a lot more difficult to clean off.
Okay.
But they sort of break down with the water when they're still wet.
I used your paper towel. You probably need more than one. You got a lot of
Yeah,
color
maybe I got
there.
a lot of paste still
Yeah,
on here.
yeah, but that cleaned up really great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, super easy to clean up when they're still wet. So that's why you want to.
So, and one of the things, and I don't know if this is a good idea for Lunar Paste, but one of the things that I end up doing when I'm working with stencils and glitter gel, or, you know, stencil paste, things like that, I keep a little tub of water close by, and I just throw my tools right in there to keep them wet and soft, so that you don't have to worry about stuff drying. So you could always do that. This way you're not running back and forth to the sink, and just make sure that you throw them right in there. So,
I would do that with stencils
totally
for sure, right when you're using them, if you don't want to go back and forth, for sure, because it'll save a lot of time for you.
Yeah.
And then also with these sponges, if you want to clean these out really quickly, you can always take them to a sink and kind of wash them out. But since we're just in here, we're just going to spray these down with a little bit of water. Spray this one too. Perfect. And then you just want to dab these up on your paper towel until they come pretty clean. And once,
oh, look at that.
Yeah, and they
I
clean
didn't
up pretty
expect
easily.
it to come off that. That's pretty good.
Right. The red stain like a little bit more, so you'll see this
Yeah.
pink stains a little bit more. But you want to kind of clean this out, and once you stop seeing the color, that's how you know it's nice and clean. There's quite a bit left in my foam. But if you clean it out of the surface of the foam while it's still wet, you're then able to use these foams over and over again. So you can sort of dedicate one or two to your Lunar Paste. Whereas if you leave the paste in there, it's going to dry rock hard, and then they won't be as usable anymore.
Yeah, and if you're if I come to your stamp room and you don't have some blending brushes or foam like daubers that are red, you're not playing hard enough.
Exactly.
Right? You got to dirty
This is
up
how you
your
know
stuff.
they're nice and used.
That's right.
Exactly.
Oh, these are fun. I love that. I
Alrighty.
really love that.
So yeah, so we can let these dry a little bit. This one's probably going to take a little bit longer to dry because it's a little bit thicker. But then these ones should be pretty dry already. But we can always go in with our heat tool and just heat set this nice and quickly. Perfect. I think they're nice and dry.
Yeah.
And the thing that I love about Lunar and Solar Paste so much is that once these are dry, you can see that if you wipe them with your hand like this, you're not getting any of that shine on your hand. So they've got that beautiful intense shine, but nothing comes off the surface, which I love.
Yeah, I love that too.
All right.
That's awesome. All right, so now we can die cut.
Yep.
Okay, so here is the die cutting machine.
Perfect.
All right.
Oh,
and then we
yours
have-
disappeared underneath it.
Oh. I've lost more than that. They'll tell you. Okay, so now, go ahead. You die cut yours first, unless you think yours is still too wet. Is
Right,
mine
no,
feel
mine's pretty good.
Okay.
Yep, I think
All
that
right.
should be good.
Okay.
And then I'll just go in with this floral die from Gina K. Do you know what set this one's from?
That is from the Botanical Duo.
All right, so this is a beautiful floral die. So I'm gonna place it right in there, kind of going across the surface of these colors. And then I'll also use this die that says 4, because we're gonna use it for my sentiment, and you'll see the full sentiment in just a minute. And I'm gonna die cut that. Let's see, I'll die cut it out using the orange and kind
That's
of
nice.
mixing it into that pink too. Let's use both of those.
Yeah.
All right.
So the floral die is from the Botanical Duo, and the 4 is from our Scripty Quartet. And the sponge daubers are actually prototypes for something that's coming soon to Gina K Designs. So, but they're very similar to jumbo sponge daubers that are out there on the market. But we've actually got our own coming.
Oh, so you guys
Very
got a
excited
sneak
about it.
peek?
Yeah, so we got a little sneak peek.
That's super awesome. All right. And I can tell you they worked really well with the Lunar Paste tonight. They applied it super smooth
So
on the surface.
flip that over and make sure that cut all the way. Oh yeah,
Yep.
it did. Okay, and if you need a pokey tool, there you go.
Thank you. And I ran it back through just to make sure
Just
that
to
it cuts
do the
through, 'cause
double.
it might be a little bit thicker with the Lunar Paste on.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut mine on an angle a little bit like that.
All right. Oh, that's really pretty. All righty.
It's exciting to have all that beautiful shine. Okay, that looks pretty good. I have another pokey tool here. Rena says hi.
Hey, Rena.
She texted me.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Okay, let's see
All
here.
right.
She might be working.
Oh, nice.
Ooh. Okay, guys, look how beautiful that is.
Oh, that is so
And
stunning.
can you see how, like, when I was putting that on the cardstock, you could see a little bit the line of demarcation between them, but it's gone completely now that I cut it out. You can see the green is fading beautifully into the gold and beautifully into the. Oh, that is so pretty, Simon.
It's so gorgeous. And the thing I really love about it too is you can't really find many like mirrored cardstocks that have different colors in them, you know, kind of going throughout it. So you're kind of creating your own with this, which is just gorgeous.
Love it.
And it matches whatever project you work on too.
I love that.
All right, so I've got mine poked out, and then I just have to poke out some of these littler details. So this little die pick comes in handy for little details like this.
So I already have an idea for my finished card here. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my grateful word out of black cardstock. I know this is a shocker for the people that watch me that I'm using black. I use black on every card.
We had the black border. That's like signature Gina K.
It is. And we're going to do that again on my card for sure. Okay. Alrighty.
All right, and I'm over here poking this out. It'll take me a little while because it's a little detailed.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm using the Grateful and Shadow die. I already cut a shadow out because Simon and I were standing around talking, waiting for you guys. And I die cut my shadow. I think you did too, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. So we got a little bit of our sentiments and stuff prepared.
Yes. I know everybody's saying, Gina, using black? No. So Tom, while Simon and I are struggling to pull our die cuts out here, I know everybody is waiting for a word of the day from you.
Well, okay. We'll do a word of the day. Okay, and this isn't one we came up with. Actually, we have we found this. This came actually to Gina. She found it, I guess, on TikTok, right?
I think it was on Instagram.
Instagram.
On the gram.
Okay. Okay, so this comes to us from the Ghost Story guys. And it's they posted. And so this is the kind of word where, you know, they for some reason they really didn't use the best word they could to describe something in the English language. And some words are better at describing something, but that's not how they're used. I think asteroid comes to mind.
Yes.
That we talked about in the past.
Yes.
So this word of the day, courtesy of the Ghost Story boys, instead of dentures, a better word for dentures or a denture is substitute. Substitute.
That is perfect.
I love that.
The Ghost Story guys.
Yeah.
They're two guys that do they have a website, and they do I think they do podcasts about like scary things.
Oh, nice.
So you could tell what kind of accounts I follow.
And they do funny words.
They do.
That's the word of the day.
That was the perfect word.
That
of
is
that.
the perfect word. Oh, don't end the broadcast.
Back
Okay.
back in the dead space.
Okay.
Look at that.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I'm thinking of cutting this out with Master Layouts 1.
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah. I think that's going to be kind of cool. And I'm going to have it a little bit more toward the top.
Oh, nice.
So
That
I'm
looks
going to cut
wonderful.
that. I tried it with Master Layouts 2, but that Master Layouts 2 was a little too small. I cut a little of that circle off. So
Oh, nice.
Master Layouts 1 is going to work. I'm going to use a little pixie tape for this.
Do you have a master layout that would cut this out?
2, yeah. You got to use
Awesome.
2 for that. I'm going to get you 2. So here is Master Layouts 2.
Perfect.
And then I'm going to do something because of the way that, and tell me if you like this idea, Simon, because of the way I really want this to stand out. And I feel like it might get a little lost on there
Mhm.
because I did exactly the same colors. So, or pretty close. I thought I would take a piece of vellum
Oh, that's
and
a
just
great
do
idea.
a strip of vellum for this to lay on.
I love that idea.
You like that idea?
Mhm.
And just down the one side.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
I'm going to cut a little strip of vellum, and there'll be enough here. This is all the vellum I have in the world, but there will be enough here if you decide that you want to vellum too. You don't have to vellum.
I might have to. Let's see. Yeah, it might get a little lost there. I might need a little band across.
You want a little band? Okay, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to do a 1 3/4 of an inch strip that my solar paste can go on top of. So
Perfect.
I'm going to get out of your way so you can
Oh,
do
okay.
your thing, and then I'm going to show a little tip on how to adhere this vellum.
Perfect. So I'm going to use Master Layouts 2, and I'm going to use the one that's got this little stitch border all the way around it because I thought that would be pretty with this. So I'm going to just tape this down. I'll use a little bit of mint tape, but you could use the pixie tape as well. And I'll just go in here, make sure there's a nice even border all the way around. Let's see. There we go. All right. Taped it to the plate there. Okay. And then I'll just add another piece of tape right on the other side here to hold it down. And then run it right through the card. Perfect.
Okay, and then while you're doing that, I'm going to get the bigger die for Master Layouts 1. So you're using Master Layouts 2. I'm using Master Layouts 1. And I'm going to get a piece of black cardstock to do my layer. Now, do you want a layer, Simon?
I might need a little bit of vellum. Well, I could use a black layer too.
Uh-oh. See, we're converting them,
She's
people.
converting me over.
We're converting Simon to the black layer.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think I need a black layer today.
I think you do. I totally think you do.
So is there one that layers with the layouts too for the black?
Yes, there is. So in there, you'll find the bigger plain die, and that will layer for master layouts too. And I'm going to use the bigger one for master layouts 1. And one little tip, I say this all the time, but I always worry that there might be one new person. And if there is, you'll appreciate the tip. Turn your cardstock on a little bit of an angle when you're using a big die like this, because the point will go in first and it'll make it go in super easy. It won't be a struggle the way it is when it goes straight in.
I could have used that tip 1 second ago.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're all good.
Try it now and see the difference.
It like rumbled through the die cutting machine when I did it. All right.
Okay. So
everyone watched me do that. It was probably like, oh,
they're probably
turn
screaming,
it.
turn it, Simon, turn it.
Exactly. All right. So I'm going to turn it on an angle here.
Okay.
And then I'll run that right through. Oh, much easier.
See?
Wow.
Isn't that a good tip?
Mm-hmm.
There.
All right. I love these master layouts. That's great.
It's fun, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And I love the stitched edge on that one too.
So you don't have anything else to die cut, right?
Nope.
Okay. So we'll get that out of the way.
I might need to steal some vellum over there though.
Oh yeah, vellum. So here's some vellum for you. And then here is a paper cutter.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure. And then while you're doing that, I am going to glue my grateful. Well, maybe I won't need the shadow die now because I've got that little bit of vellum. I don't think I'm going to need it. I don't think so. I think that's going to work out really nicely.
Oh, that's so pretty. Wow. I love it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to just go straight away the color on there. All right, so my little tip here for adhering vellum, I love this little tip. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape this panel onto the black panel. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my vellum. Let's try to line this up straight. I'm nervous because Simon's here. Trying to look cool. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this panel and I'm going to fold it over the edge and adhere it on the back. This way I don't have to worry about taping it onto the front anywhere. So I'm going to start here like that, and I'll tape that part down. Now, if you don't like it covering your black, you can, let's see if I can still get this off. I think I can because it's not completely adhered. You can do the white panel. So let's do that just in case anybody's not going to like that idea. All right. So we've got that. We're going to adhere that with some tape here. And then we have that where we want it. We're going to fold it at the bottom. And I don't need all of this, so I can cut a little bit of this off. Let me get a pair of scissors to do that. Because you never know when you're going to need one little piece of vellum. And then I'm going to adhere this onto the bottom.
Alrighty, so I'm doing the same thing, but sort of horizontally across the card like this. And then
I want to make sure that I get, I'm going to put tape over that vellum. I know that feels like a lot of tape, but it's worth it.
Yeah, to make sure that it stays.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And that little bit of vellum on there, just, I mean, you still see all of the beautiful color from the stamping foam. You can still see all of them. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. You can still see all of that, but now when you place this on top, this stands out a little bit more. Oh, I love the shine on that. Oh, that's so pretty.
All right.
And then what you can do is, if you want, you can see where this is going to go on top, and then see how, like, I know that I'm going to cover it with a leaf there. You can go in with a little glue underneath in there in different little spots and put some glue down if you want, because the leaves are going to cover it. So once you know where those leaves are going to go, then with this long tip of this bottle, you can squeeze a little bit of glue under, and then that won't mess up. See how that just tacked it down? But
These
I'm
are
hiding
some great
it.
tips
All right.
for Vellum.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I gotta do that same thing. I gotta like adhere it down underneath.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right.
Now I'm going to use a colored card base for this, and I feel like something like honey mustard might be a good color for my card base. Maybe, but maybe that.
Oh, that's super pretty.
I think this or the tomato soup. Let's look at it. That is very pretty. I do like
I like that one.
I do like that. But we're going to look at tomato soup because we got to look
Tomato soup is a great color too. I love that one.
And I'm wondering, because so much of the tomato soup is covered. Where's tomato soup? This is coral reef. Here's tomato soup. So much of the tomato soup is covered with the vellum that maybe this will help bring it out a little bit. What do you think?
Ooh, I like that too. See,
you
it's
like
a
that?
hard choice.
It is a hard choice. All right, so tomato soup. Hey, you guys, we just want to thank all like 2,900 of you for showing up tonight.
Yeah, thank
That's
you
a
so
big
much.
group of people,
Wow.
and we really appreciate you. We really do. And thank you for the thumbs up too. That really means so much. So those of you that are on YouTube, giving us a thumbs up, we appreciate it. And we see a bunch of you coming in from Facebook and Twitch. So thank you. Okay, people are saying tomato soup. So I'm going to go with the tomato
I
soup.
do love that. It's very rich.
So we need a color for you.
Yes.
So
You
what
have
Gina
a,
K color is going to work with
do you
those
have
gorgeous
something
colors?
like that,
I
or
have this. This is passionate
Let's see.
pink.
Ooh, I like that one.
And then what's hiding though?
Do you have like an orange, like a mid-tone orange color?
What about tangerine twist?
That could work really well. I like because it has all the orange in that flower.
Yeah, and it's kind of
Ooh, I like that.
I like that because.
All right, folks, what are we thinking?
All right. So do you like? Let's look at them both. So there's the tangerine twist, and there's the passionate pink. All right. All right. We're getting more tangerine.
We're getting some tangerine in here.
And I think it's
Oh, yeah,
because
lots of
because
there's a lot
you're
more
hiding
orange
the
in here.
orange here, so that kind of brings it out a little bit in this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, I like that idea.
All right. So I'm going to cut mine down here on the floor where my paper cutter is. I'm going to do that. Want me to cut yours?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. So here's mine.
Send it under the table.
Yeah, I'm under the table now. Simon's seeing really how small my little studio is. It looks big, but it's not that big. Okay.
Okay, so that reminds me.
Uh-oh.
That just reminded me of that joke your father used to tell your mother and father, where two old people are going to bed and one says, "Did you brush your teeth?" And she says, or he says, "Yeah, and I brushed yours too."
That's your substitutes. Oh, that's funny. All right. So, Simon, I just scored yours.
Oh,
I
thank
brushed
you.
yours too.
Thank you.
Okay.
That looks great. I love it.
Oh, that looks good together. That's a great
I
color
love having
cardstock.
everyone with us because they can really choose it for us.
Isn't that so fun?
Otherwise, I'd be like sitting there for like 20 minutes, really going back and forth.
I know. And they always pick the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going here. You know what? I have another one. Okay. I had a white card base out because I use a lot of white. But now I'm going to glue everything on. Oh, it's so nice.
I know. I love the music.
The music picks up for the dead space.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming from the dead space, but it's It actually helps eliminate the dead space.
All right. You know what? That's better than horrible. The centering job on here.
That's all that matters. That's the standard.
All right.
Okay. I love this solar paste so much.
Yes, it's so much fun.
All right, now I can put that over those spots where I'm hanging it off the edge a little bit too. I like that.
Oh, and what we used the lunar paste, but the solar paste.
I'm sorry, I keep saying
No,
solar
you're
paste.
all good. You're good, because before they came out, I was using them, and I was like, this is going to be a problem, because I kept mixing them up. And I was like, oh no. But then I sort of figured it out, but yeah, it's a little confusing.
I think I'm saying solar paste because they're so bright and vibrant that I think of the sun.
Yes.
But I love, let me say it again, I love the solar paste, but I love the lunar paste too. Love it.
Alrighty, so I'll adhere my word down. I pre-cut some sentiments as well. So I'll adhere this right down to the white shadow. And that shadow is super nice. It just helps stand it up off a busy background like this.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Do you have your U?
Yes, it's somewhere over here. Here it is. And I can place that. So my sentiment's going to say for you. So I've already cut this U and stacked it. I'm just going to go right underneath it. And I'll place down the 4. What are we thinking? Let's see. Placement is always the hardest part. All right. I think that looks good. Right side like that. I'm like struggling with placement here now. Oh, I'm gonna do it over here. Maybe I'll overlap the flower just a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I just overlap my word on my flower.
All right, that's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna add some little black metallic pearls in here to play off the black.
Ooh, I love
I'm
that
gonna
idea.
like put them on these berries.
Yeah, that's gonna be beautiful. All right. Oh no, there we go.
And then we gotta get a tight close-up of these.
Perfect.
Mm-mm-mm.
All right.
They're all stuck to me.
Same. Everything's sticking.
I'm gonna use a bigger one there.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful,
fun.
Simon. That's so nice.
Oh, I try add some gems too. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think I like these. How do you get these out? Do I just grab a couple?
I just grab them and throw them all over the table and then try to pick them up. Okay. So there's mine. Oh, look at the shine on that.
Oh,
Isn't
that is so
fun?
beautiful.
Yeah, that's really
You
fun.
know,
Oh,
I'll add
sorry.
some-
I just
No,
bumped you.
you're good. I'll add some to my berries too. There's a couple on here. Let's see. There's like a few little berries. I'll add it to this too. There we go. All right, and I'll use the.
So have you
stick
used
tool.
that before?
No.
Okay, so the thing that if you try to pick it up sideways like you're writing, it doesn't work. You got to go straight up and down on it, and they pick up better.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, that was a good tip. Put that down there.
We're just full of tips tonight, aren't we? Let me move mine out of the way. I feel like I'm all over the place, and it's kind of like Tom and I trying to sleep, and he gets this much of the bed, and I'm like this much of the bed. Oh my goodness.
That is beautiful.
Oh,
Love
that's
it.
so nice. Look at that shine. Can you guys see that shimmer and shine?
Oh,
Little
that is
rhinestones
just
and
gorgeous.
all with the lunar paste. Gorgeous. Oh, this is so much fun. So, I'm thinking of all different ways that you can use this lunar paste. And it might even, like, if I were to do this card over again, I might do my stamping foam colors in a much softer color, like maybe a gray or a more neutral. so that the solar paste stands out a little bit more. You know, we try things and see how they look. I think it looks beautiful, but I think the vellum helped. But if I didn't want to use that vellum, I probably would, oh, look at that.
That's so
I
pretty.
probably would have gone a little bit later on the background. Like, can you
Mhm.
imagine this in a real soft gray and then having all that lunar paste shine and everything on top? But that looks great.
Yeah, the lunar paste is so pretty on top. And like I said, it sort of matches some of the ink colors too. And you can also kind of find some to match so that they really coordinate with the colors of your card as well. But
I
like
love how
you're
you
saying,
did it in the same.
yeah, it's super
Yeah.
fun and it kind of goes together. But like you're saying, if you want to, like you could stamp this off and get a lighter
Right.
color, or do like grays and neutrals and then do some bright colors on top.
Or reverse on this
yeah.
piece, you know,
Yeah,
where the
that
yellow
could be
is
super
down
fun.
here and the pink is up there.
Mhm.
So many different things that you can do. You could sit and play with this stuff all day. And some of these gorgeous colors, at least pick up a few colors and try them. I mean, you've got to. Can you show the solar paste on paper?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to grab out a piece of black? Do you have a piece of black
Yeah.
cardstock?
Here we go. Right here.
So this looks a lot different on white and black cardstock. And I'll go in. So let me use.
I'm going to move our cards.
Oh, perfect. We don't want to get those dirty.
No.
All right. So we'll use a little bit of overheated. This is the orange, but there's 6 different rainbow colors in solar paste. And so basically, solar paste is going to look really great on white, but it's almost going to just blend in with the cardstock, right? So you're pretty much not seeing it at all there. And that's exactly what we wanted, because we wanted it to really be a little bit more subtle. Oh, that's great too.
I want to
Use
see it
the
on
color
color.
too. Yeah. And then it really starts to show up on colors a lot more. So you'll see when we put it on this teal color, you're going to see a little bit more of that orange, but when it's dry, it'll come to life even more. So I'll use a heat tool on this quickly too, so we can see it. And then also we'll go right in on black too. And in the black, you really start to see it
Oh my God, yeah.
come to life. But we wanted it to be more subtle, because with lunar paste, it really is kind of like standing out and really in your face. Like, look at those lunar pastes, right? And so for something like snow, or for like kind of more subtle effects, I wanted you to be able to kind of add it onto a card and not really see it until you tilt it. And then you get that beautiful colored shine. And you can see it more in the studio here. It's kind of hard to see on camera what the white does, but you can see some of
Yeah.
that orange.
And I don't know if you guys can catch that at all, but it is beautiful.
there we
I
go, a
can
little bit.
imagine like with an embossing folder and just doing this just on the embossed parts on the top for like a wedding card. Oh my gosh, that would be so pretty.
Yeah, solar paste is more for that kind of subtle shine. And then here you can really see that it shines more. You can see those really beautiful orange shimmer and shine. But then what's cool about solar paste too is because it's got that white and clear base to it, you can also mix in reinkers to get whatever color you want. So let's say you have a Simon Hurley or a Gina K reinker that you use for an ink pad. You can then mix it into there and get one color. So like, let's say we added yellow into here, you would get a yellow paste, but then you'd have an orange shift. So you can really like mix in different colors and create your own paste when it comes to solar paste.
Oh, that's very cool. So solar paste has to go in the cart, and you can mix it with your Gina K reinkers, and that would kind of then make it work with some of the Gina K inks that you have. And then you have all these lunar pastes that will match with your Simon Hurley inks.
Right?
That's
yeah.
great. I love that.
Yeah, the awesome part is if you have any brand reinkers, as long as they're a dye-based reinkers, so they're translucent, you'll be able to color them with this. So you, like you say, you can match whatever project you have with whatever color inks you used, and then have kind of that cool shift to it too.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Simon, I just have to ask you, a couple people had wanted to know, where does your inspiration come from?
Yeah, I mean, inspiration comes from all around. I think everywhere in the industry, when we see each other's projects and things like that, I think that you can draw a lot of inspiration from that. I watch a lot of your guys' lives, and so that's a lot of fun to get some inspiration. But like even just out there in the world too, you'll see different patterns and different textures and in nature and different things like that. And so I think bringing that into the card making world is really fun. So just kind of all over the place, whether it's in person or just kind of online.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys, if you haven't seen Simon Hurley's Instagram or his TikTok, you got to watch some of his reels. He also posts some of them on YouTube, right? On the YouTube shorts. But his reels are really cool. Like he does these reels where he'll say, let's use stamping foam on my mom's dining room chair or on my sweater. And he finds inspiration for stamping foam in some of the coolest places. So you guys got to check him out. The name of your Instagram is Ink Clips.
Yep, it's Inklipse, INKLIPSE. But you'll also, if you search up Simon Hurley, you'll probably be able
It
to
pops
find
right
it.
up. Yeah.
And then on YouTube too, it's just Simon Hurley. And on most platforms, you'll find me just by searching up Simon Hurley.
Yeah, and he's great. So make sure that you subscribe to him on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
There's a lot of
all
them.
of the things.
All of the
right?
things.
Yeah. So this was so much fun tonight.
Yeah, it was a blast. I loved creating cards and kind of stopping back in. It's been years since we've seen each other in
know.
person. So this was a ton of fun.
So how about if we give away these cards tonight? Are you willing to do
Yes,
that?
let's do it.
Okay. I forgot to ask you about that, but I'm giving away your card.
Oh, of
Okay.
course.
So Tom, we've got 2 cards here. We've got Simon's beautiful, bright, vibrant,
Better than horrible.
Better Than Horrible for You card, and Gina K's Better Than Horrible Grateful card. So,
All right, drum roll, please.
okay, we're giving Simon's away first.
Here we go. Ba-ba. Okay, Simon's card is going to Linda Botts Rogers.
Yay, Linda!
Yay, Linda,
Yay!
that's so exciting.
Congratulations, Linda! All right. Okay. And then the Gina K Grateful card.
Okay, and the Gina K
Next.
Grateful card goes
Lunar
to
Paste Shine.
Tanya Hungary.
Hey, Tanya, congratulations. All right, ladies. Well, all you have to do is send your name and address to info@ginakdesigns.com and let us know which card you won. And then they'll get that information to me and I'll get it to you.
Awesome.
And you can sign and send your card
Awesome.
and I'll sign and send my card.
That's super exciting.
Well, this was so much fun, Simon. Thank you so much for making the trip
course.
all the way down here
Mhm.
to Milwaukee to visit us. It's always great to have you, and let's do it again really soon. Okay?
Definitely. I would love to.
All right.
I'll be back.
Okay, good. And Tom and I will be back at noon Central Time on Thursday with another Stampin' Chat Live, and then I'll be back over the weekend with another 5-minute card video. Until then, everybody, stay safe and healthy. We love you all so very much, and mwah, we'll see you again real soon.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
friends.
Thank you.